For reference, this is what we're putting in. That's 4 springs. And this is what came out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you guys have kind of seen and known, that we are kind of between diagnosing and figuring out some transmission issues we had with our 9973 here. I apologize for the wind. We'll get inside real quick, but we went in here, threw stage 2 injectors on it, romped on it a couple times, and the trans just completely gone. Like, I don't want to say gone because it's still there. Doesn't seem too burnt up, too messed up at all. However, at first we lost reverse, and then next we lost all gears. Next day I come back, I hop in the truck, throw it in reverse, back it up about 30 feet, absolutely fine. Put it in drive, nothing again. Pulled it forward, and there she sat. So we pulled the pan, all the valve bodies out, got this thing kind of torn apart, kind of saw what we're looking for. We noticed that typical Ford 4R100 problems, the feed bolts inside the transmission were loose. I mean, I stuck a socket on there, I could turn them by hand. I think it's something stupid like 16 Newton meters, 10 foot-pounds. Those things need to be tightened to, but 10 foot-pounds is not, I can like twist it by hand. So here's all the stuff we pulled out of the transmission. So like I said, we didn't pull a tranny. This is everything you can pull at home as well, without doing any major things. Like, there's a lot here, don't mind. There's check balls, don't lose those. But we pulled, obviously, main valve body, solenoid pack, other valve body. We had to pull those out to check those feed bolts, and obviously we found them loose. Well, now that these are out, we needed to upgrade them in some way. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. You can order, I think it's a John Wood valve body. You'll get this. It's already ready to go. Comes out like this. You spend probably about, after taxes, fees, and the core charge, about 350 bucks. It'll ship to you just like this. Take it out. You don't even have to remove these. If you're not checking the feed bolts, you could literally take this out, drop the pan, take this, put it back in, and call it a day. Like I said, about 350 bucks for that. Other thing on the forums, and a lot of you send the comments on the last video, this transgo reprogramming kit. This is actually the E40D HD2 kit. Give me a second and I'll explain why I didn't get the 4R100 HD whatever tugger kit. But this kit gives you everything that would go into that valve body, built by some of these companies. And I'm gonna be honest, some of those companies literally use Transgo, Sunex, Suncoast. They literally use those parts to build their valve bodies and then ship to you. And then that's why they want the core, so they could take it back, rebuild it, and sell you that thing for the same price. So yes, that'll save you time. However, this kit gives you that, and then some. Gives you a 1 to 2 shift spring as well. Obviously gives you new valves and other stuff. And then you can also go into the tranny with this kit if you wish, and give yourself a new 4th gear, I think, clutch ring. Here you go. They're known to come loose and then spin in there, which is not good. Now, that part of the install of this HD2 kit requires the tranny to be removed. If you don't have the tranny removed, you can install as much of this kit as you wish. Install what you need into the valve body, build that, install all the other parts you can without ripping the tranny out if you don't want. It even says that when purchasing this kit. Also know that this kit does say somewhere, I think on their website, it does say for professionals only, so take that into account. You got to have a little bit of knowledge to do something like this. I'm gonna walk you through it here today, though. It's not that bad. Everyone says they're pretty simple, and they love these kits when they put them in. Now, the HD2 kit compared to the Tugger, obviously the Tugger is a towing tranny kit. Obviously, we're not towing heavy with this. If you got a 7.3, you're hauling your campers, you're hauling your, your mini excavators, all that stuff, put the Tugger in. And obviously that requires the tranny to come out. That gets you to control lockup amongst a lot of other things, because you adjust those valves and stuff in the tranny as well. And obviously that lock ring, you want to throw that on there so you're holding while you're towing. But because this is a street sport race, whatever kind of looking truck, this is the kit they recommend even on Transgo's website. This is for the street and sport trucks. So in that instance, we went to Summit Racing and picked this up for 85 bucks, not 350 or 250 without the core and fees, but 85 bucks. We're gonna pretty much build this valve body just like, you know, they do. And on top of that, we also picked up this. It's a brand new trans filter, because obviously while we're tightening those feed bolts and all that stuff, we're gonna do a tranny service, get a new filter in there. Gasket is reusable, so we're just cleaning that off, put that back in. So I think a mixture of this shift kit, that's gonna modify our valve body. I got a new solenoid pack on the way, so unfortunately, spoiler alert, this is not going back in the transmission today, because we're waiting on this to get delivered. But between what we're doing, this replacement, trans fluid flush and service, tighten the feed bolts, I just think we'll be a-okay. So yeah, 85 bucks, can't beat it. Let's get her installed and get ready to throw it back together as soon as those solenoids show up. So obviously there's two valve bodies. There's the E40D and the 4R100. If you have the E40D, I believe, or this other older valve body, you can actually adjust the tranny to hold RPMs in any gear. So like you could put in first or second and it'll hold whatever RPMs or something like that or whatever. But because we have the second type valve body here, it'll show us where to put all the check balls as we're putting this back into the transmission. I guess acknowledging what valve body you have, you're already pretty much done with step one of this if all your stuff is on the bench. And you could go straight to the second page. So now we're pretty much on to modifying our accumulator valve body. Now this valve body, some of the performance ones you may get will already come with this done or done for you, but right here you see how there's no little slot or vent. Well, we're gonna have to drill some holes in that. That's gonna be step one of this upgrade. So flip this thing over from where we need to drill here. Here's the accumulator valve. We need to remove it from the valve body. So on this one, I just kind of pushed it and popped it a bunch of times, like in and out, and eventually got itself a place where I can pull. But we're gonna pull this out and just kind of line these up here. Obviously, note this, and just in the order you pull them out, lay them down. Then the last piece is this guy right here. Goes like this, and boom, you got that whole bore all cleaned out. We have a 5/64 bit in the in the drill right now, which actually comes out to a 0.078. But 2X's here. I know it says not fussy. It's probably just to get some fluid to come through like these. But yeah, we got a 5/64 loaded up. We're gonna drill 2 holes, and then we can actually reassemble this valve here. So in your bag of springs here, one guy that's kind of tossed around, hidden up in there, if we can get him out, is this short blue spring. No, this isn't a blue spring mod on a Power Stroke, but this spring is actually going to get put behind here and into there. Boom. A lot of you are probably going to question, if you didn't know, Seafoam also cleans parts, so it'll actually clean your tools real good. But we're going to put the accumulator valve back in. But we're going to reuse this spring and cap as well after clean that off. And now you're going to see that this obviously goes back into that hole, but between this and our top is that blue spring on the way in. So now do that, put her in. Back in business. You're gonna take your clip, you're gonna push in your accumulator valve thingy here, lock it in, boom, good to go. So stage one is done. Got your holes, got your new spring in there, and we can move on to the other 3. Okay, so we're gonna move up to the second accumulator now. These right here, you'll see they use the valve cover bolts. They'll go in, and you can see you can move them, but they thread perfectly with that pitch. But on this instance, you're just gonna have to move it in once again. Pop that clip out, And then, with that clip removed, obviously we're going to build it the same way again. You could pull this out because this is obviously screwed in. But yeah, build this backwards. That white spring, and also in here there's another clip, retainer clip, you're going to want to pull out. That'll pop out. This will pop out. And then the same thing in here. You got to work out this valve in the back. There we go. Boom. So it comes with a new steel accumulator valve. That's going to go in first. I would assume that's clean enough. You're going to reuse the small spring. Oh, this is going to be tricky. That's money, dude. Okay, so what we did there, I took this, pushed the spring down. When you push it down enough, it gives you a spot to slide this in there, lock that spring in place before you assemble the rest. I guess I did the hardest ones first, which was this one and that one, because they got the weird stuff going on. But you don't have to remove those unless you buy those steel valves for the other two. But here, we're all ready to put the rest of it back together, which goes pretty simple here. So you're going to take the second accumulator piston here, slide it back in, just like that. And now you get a kit full of a bunch of orange springs. Half of them are half coated, so you're going to take a big one. You're going to take a medium one. As you can see, it's black on one side, orange on the other. They go inside. And then this one, you're going to put inside of that one, which are the 3 orange springs. And then, on top of that, you're going to take the silver spring and put it inside of that. For reference, this is what we're putting in. That's 4 springs. And this is what came out. That's actually quite impressive. I don't know what it does yet, but that's impressive. And then you're going to take this, you're going to be able to put that back in. Boom. That works. Sweet. And then you're going to be able to push it down enough to get the lock back on. And that's secured. Okay, so here on the third accumulator piston here, we're going to pull this spring. Clip popped out, but that's fine. Same thing. Screw one of the bolts in it. A little tight, but they came. So technically, because you're not really doing anything beyond this, you don't even need to take this out, but I figured while I'm in here this deep, might as well take it out and clean it. If you're gonna change all of the regulator valves out to steel, you could do the same thing, pull that clip, pull that out, swap all that. But because we don't have those and we're not doing that, we're gonna put the third back in, and then you're gonna repeat. Now this one's a little different than the previous, but also different than the fourth. Assemble the same way, big, the white, you stick the orange in there, and you'll stick the silver one in there too. And then this will go in there, and you're able to take your top here, clean it off. And lock it in place and unscrew. And then after that, the fourth one is actually the easiest, which I have no idea why I didn't start with that, but same concept, push it in. There we go, that one was a little stuck. Pull that out again. This time looks like it's a nice blue spring. I don't think there's anything else in that one. Here's the fourth. I'm gonna clean this off as well. Put the fourth back in. And on the fourth one, it's just a 3 orange spring pack here, all 3 of them. Put that back in, lock the spring, and take out your bolt. And there you go, guys, all the way from step 1 to step 4, we completely modified this valve body ourselves. That actually was not bad. That was literally probably maybe a scale 2 or 3 out of 10. That actually was not awful. I just kind of getting the hang of what's what and where goes and what goes where. But other than that, that was very simple. We're not done yet, but at least this part, that was super quick. Okay, and then in the kit they give you one of these. It says heads up, and it also says like not on every single job this is a problem. But considering you got a brand new one and it's all the way out, I'm gonna do this right here on the main valve body, not the accumulator body. Flip it over up in here. There's this spring right here. It's like the shift spring. They gave you a replacement, so we're just gonna replace it. Sometimes they say it is bent or cracked, but in this instance, I don't see that as an issue. But because we have a new one and we're here, might as well install it. Seems to be the same concept. Where'd this come from? Oh, spring fell out. Well, by the looks of it, if you flip it over with this out a little bit, this whole thing, I mean, you could probably get it out if you needed, but you could literally just take this, put it in that hole, get it set, put that back, and then we're gonna clean this off. Push that back in, and that's that. So you got a new shift spring in there. Like I said, just because the fact that they gave us a brand new one, might as well do it. That took no time at all. So that's all good. So I think as of now, we've got everything done to the valve bodies themselves, both the main and the accumulator. Both these valve bodies are done. All the work is done on them. Now we get into the plates. There's some modifications we're gonna make to the plates, the accumulator plate and something else, and then this new one we got in the kit here. We're gonna make some adjustments here to these little holes, and that's gonna adjust how firm our shifts are. Okay, so there's a couple holes we actually need to enlarge. This is obviously gonna let more fluid through, and this is one of the things that you're gonna do. Enlarging these holes is gonna, increase the shift firmness, especially in this plate. We'll get to this in a second. However, we gotta do the valve body, like the gasket plate. Now, when you take this out, if you do take this out, and you are doing this, inspect your gaskets. I already have another set on order. Right here, there's a chunk missing. Down here, there's a chunk missing. Right here, I found a tear in this gasket as well. So there's a common issue with these things where, it'll cross leak and stuff won't work right. But just because of that, like I said, I'm just gonna get 2 new gaskets. It's not even worth it. They're 15 bucks. So I'm gonna get those ordered and we'll throw those in. However, we need to modify these. It comes with a drill bit for this plate, but there's 3 holes we need to modify to this size. And I'll show you those right now. Because there's E40Ds and 40100s, and there's 7.3s and V10s and 5.4s that all use this transmission and setup, there's different holes for each. So it tells you, oh, if your gasket thing here comes with a hole 89, hole 90, or hole 2T, there's different configurations for each and check balls you need to use. On this, however, it also says if the hole's already bigger, don't worry about it, and if the hole isn't there, don't drill a new hole. But on our setup, at least, there's 2 holes we do need to enlarge. Matching it up with here, we do have hole 2T, so we're gonna have to enlarge this D orifice here, which that's the one that's actually not there. So that leaves us with 2, which is gonna be this one, and then this one down over here. That D isn't there, but this one I think is, because the check ball goes there and down there. Are we sure? Drill, boom, diagonally up, drill, and then this one would be this one, this hole. Okay. Okay, so we're on like the final part. Obviously, we ordered new gaskets for this. Our two holes over here have been enlarged, so that's good. Now on this, the accumulator plate here. This is the money shot here, because this is what's gonna adjust your shift firmness. The plate comes with a .053 hole in it. And it gives you all the recommendations for 6-cylinder, V8, V10, diesel. They're all different sizes. And over here it says, this plate lets you choose an average firmness. So it gives you average, you know, numbers, drill bit sizes to pick a, like I said, average firmness. I personally like it a step firmer. So I personally like all my shifts a little bit firmer than normal. Obviously, if these average sizes already increase firmness a little bit, perfect. I still like it a little bit firmer than that. I like I said in my 06, my built 48. Obviously, the internals were built. These internals are not built. So I do, in fact, like it a little bit firmer. So we've already got all of our drill bits laid out on the correct holes and everything we need to do. I have them set right now because it says slightly firmer, for a slightly firmer shift after road test. Now, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you right now, yes, the correct thing to do is put this in with the stock's average size holes, run it down the road, see how you like it. See how you like it, that's the correct thing to do. But by the time I put that in there, and then you drain all the training fluid, obviously you could save most of it, reflush it, do all that. But in that process, it's like, I already know I like firmer shifts, and obviously injectors, a couple other things. I don't know, so I'm gonna just, from the get-go, the .10 larger hole for a slightly firmer shift. A lot firmer shift, you enlarge the hole for a .30. So if I did a .30 larger than these average numbers, yeah, that would probably shift really hard. With the stock internals on that, really don't want to deal with that. So we're gonna go slightly firmer than the average, which is already probably a little bit firmer than normal. So we're gonna go a little bit firmer than the kit kind of sets you at. But see the diagram here, it shows you the little holes you need to drill out for your second, third, and fourth shift in here. We got everything lined up, match the plate the same way as there, you know, and you'll find all the holes correctly. It is a little confusing, but a lot easier. Just break it down, simple terms, there it is. And then, other than the gaskets and our solenoid pack, our $85 transmission upgrade in a box will be done. Alright guys, well there you have it. $85 later, we got a transgo pretty much shift kit installed. We upgraded our valve body ourselves, well, our accumulator body. We've also kind of updated and kind of refreshened our normal valve body. And in this, we adjusted these down here, these two holes, modified this, which actually will feed the accumulator valve body. And obviously this goes like this, but this goes on the bottom side when it goes back in the tranny. It's actually quite funny because a lot of you were like, oh, I'm done with this truck. I'm done. Like, I'm tired of it. I want something different. Yeah, I told you, like, stuff for the Broncos is going to take a minute to get here still, so we're waiting on that. But this just truly shows you the entire depth, like, of work it takes to do what we did here. And it's not even done. This thing still needs wet sanded and polished out. It looks great, but like for me to get this thing, like you could get this thing like actual show quality shine and all of that, doing that, adding rock lights and some other stuff, like this thing is pretty darn flat, so getting this thing like show shine, that's gonna be nuts. We're closing in, guys, and that's what's crazy is I think I bought this last August, and we're coming up on a year. We had a whole section in the middle where it just kind of, we were working on it, we weren't, but like it's a lot of work, truly, especially to take something so beat up. And this is probably my craziest one yet. My Silverado, I don't even think was this in depth. Like I made this one to the T, pretty much as perfect as you can with what I'm dealt with. The results are going to be absolutely unreal on that. Can't wait to get this thing put back together. I'm hoping the rest of this stuff should be here in time for another video this week, and you guys can see all this going back in the tranny. If not, early next week, that should be back in. And there's a few more things we got to do to the Jeep still. We got to work on the Bronco. There's a bunch of other stuff behind here we got to get digging into as well. Haven't even brought half of that stuff up to you guys yet, but we'll get there, trust me. I just want to finally be able to knock this thing out before I start putting my hands in 3 other projects at once. At the beginning, it makes sense. At the end of projects, it doesn't, because if I put my hands into like the first gens or the Bronco or other stuff right now, I'm just never going to get to this. So I really want to focus on knocking this thing out, and then we can move on to a lot of special things behind both these units right here. So there you have it, guys. $85 shift kit, valve body enhancement, whatever you want to call it. We did it. Literally day's work. Went, drove, picked it up, drove an hour back, installed it in like just walking through it. That was, I actually enjoyed that. That was super fun. So if you guys are thinking about it, try it out. Transgo. Like I said, the tugger kit tranny needs to be removed. This kit tranny can be removed if you choose to do like the converter lockup and then the 4th gear clutch ring and stuff like that. If you choose to do those, cool. If not, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not towing with it. But like I said, the tugger is a towing tranny kit. That's a street sport kit. So if you're doing street sport truck things, get this kit. If you're towing and you're hauling heavy, get the tugger, pull your tranny, make it happen. I haven't heard a bad thing about the transgo kits. So either way you take it, I think you'll have the results you want. A lot of people put them in their Rams and all of that. I honestly think you should be satisfied with the results on this, and I hope I am too. Wait on some gaskets and a solenoid pack and I can give you an affirmative answer, but right now I just want to show you and run you down the install of this shift kit and this modified valve body. That's pretty sick. So you guys could do it too, and don't even think it's just for 4R100s. They have 68s, 48s. They got shift kits for a lot of transmissions. So consider this a stage 0 build. Not a stage 1, not a stage 2, 3, 4 that hold horsepower. This can hold stock to moderate increase in horsepower. Don't think you can put 600, 700, 800 horsepower to this and your transmission is built. That's not the case. Transgo, guys. That was. I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed with this. So if you guys enjoyed this video, shoot a thumbs up. If you haven't been here before, please get down there, click subscribe, drop me a comment if you haven't already. Take care. Hopefully we'll be getting that thing on the road in the next video. If not, we'll have something else for you. But in the meantime, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.